now. I mean, no one's watching, but people later on who come back to this moment in time as it's been encapsulated will absolutely hear us just talking about them. Welcome.
That's fine. That's
uh,
good.
if you are watching this now or in the future, I'm Tony Vicinda. This is
John DeCampos. Hello.
And we're clicking live on our project in just a minute. It's supposed to go live 2 minutes ago. We'll click live whenever we click live. I'm going to pull that screen up so that everybody can see it.
There are people who have set alarms.
I know. There are people who are excited about this project. We have almost 200 followers. What did we end up with? What did we actually end up with?
I haven't checked. It was around it was something around 190.
Yeah, it was 196 earlier. 197.
Oh,
we
word?
Came within 3 of 200. So close. I also realize anything I do on that screen, everyone's going to see, which is fine. I'm not doing anything I shouldn't be doing. But you guys are going to watch what happens, first of all, when we take a video live. Second of all, what we do for the first little bit of our Zine Quest launch. Ideally, we probably would have gone live like 15 minutes ago and let you watch all this stuff. But, we didn't. So get ready for it. I am going to be sharing this out in a couple of different groups. My group, the Terrible Games group, the RPG Zines group, it's already up on Twitter. I'm going to stick it anywhere I think people are interested. People are saying nice things to me on Facebook. We are going to go, hopefully there's nothing on the back end here that you guys can just hack. John, what are your couple of actions that you're on? Oh shit. Before I'm putting any of that, I got to finish this. You're putting the final what?
Well, first of all, cheers, happy launch day.
Cheers,
anybody
launch
looking?
Day.
Yeah, Tony. So I have my baby arm of coffee right here, and I'm just putting the finishing touches on the outgoing backer update from the Token Terrorist campaign, so that everybody knows we're about to get mean and green.
This is the thing to realize. If you're not a huge, big organization, if you're doing a fun project and you launch at 11:05 or, 10 minutes late, or if you have to, like last year, I had to push our campaign back 45 minutes because we had a couple graphics we were still getting ready. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell people, and it helps just build up. It's another chance to share something out online. We're supposed to have a couple videos ready that aren't quite ready to go, so I'm just adding in a quick how to play section.
I think I might have accidentally hit publish on the post update for Token Terror. So, I guess we have to do it immediately.
Okay.
If we don't, our reputation is on the line.
Hold on. Give me 30 seconds.
I'm totally kidding.
A sheet called the heap. And then we're going to toss that image of the heap down below that.
Oh, you're still in the mix.
Hello. Do what?
You're actually okay. Cool. No, I didn't know you were. You're still.
Yeah, that's why I said give me an actual second because I'm literally putting something in.
This is what out. No, this is the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah.
We're
prepared.
Dude,
I'm looking at the framing graphic on the stream. It's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah. No, it turned out Johnny took your art.
Really good.
He's getting better and better at all that jazz. That's good.
Okay, I need
Dude,
to turn this off, though.
That heap image, the one that you created, turned out just
yeah.
It's one of my favorite things.
I agree.
All right, I'm hitting save on this. We can edit any more later. The only other thing I haven't done is a retail level. I'll go back in and add that later. Because
we can add rewards later. We just can't take any away.
Correct.
Right. I'm hitting publish on this and the email blast for my subs for Terrible Games.
Yeah. Hey, Michael. Hey, Chris. Hey, John. Thanks for saying hi. We're about to click live on the game. So, Michael, thanks so much. John's done just a ton of work. So whenever you're ready, you'll hit live. I'll hit refresh, and then people can come back. Maybe we fund in an hour. Maybe we fund in a day. It's fine. We're not going to stay on for a day. We're going to stay on for an hour.
Yeah. That sounds good. I think we're on track to hit 1K today.
Oh, I think we're 100% going to back within the first 24. I wouldn't. I mean, I'm trying. Hey, Libra Schnitzel. I think we last year for Zine Quest, I think it was an hour for the 500 for my game. So I mean, I'm hoping with between the two of us that we've got the pull to just do the same in an hour. Speaking of which, I got to go share this stream. Still in a couple places. Hop over to +1. If you guys have an idea about where I should drop this stream, tell me in the chat. I'll put it wherever we think we can get away with. So, but John, whenever you're ready to hit live, hit live. Just tell me so I can plop back over there.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Are you doing it or am I doing it?
Oh, I can't. I don't know that I can hit live. Can I hit live?
Oh,
let me see.
No, here we go. No, I'm going. It's going. Okay. It's going. Your launch date determines the end. Yeah, funding is all or nothing, and if you reach your funding goal, you must complete the project. I've read the details, and I will launch now.
Can't show you clicking that button, but it is happening live right now.
Congratulations, your project is live. It has happened.
All right. If you want to be the first backer, this is your chance. We'll keep an eye on this. We'll let you know who's first.
We have 45 of these.
Yeah.
These are die cut weatherproof vinyl stickers.
Which means that when the crust, we've already got 2 backers. When the crust is formed,
boom, boom.
We will be. Oh, they just disappeared. There we go. I don't know what's happening. I'm going too fast for this thing. 4 backers, 10% of the way there. Yeah, let's walk through it. I'm going to walk through the page real quick. We're not going to watch the video. We'll come back and do that in a little bit. But let's walk through the page for anybody watching right now. Oh, actually, I do need to go finish. Join us live for our launch. And you guys are just really going to get to see everything that we do kind of behind the scenes here. We'll talk about it.
Oh, my gosh. That graphic turned out great.
Which one? All of them turned out so good.
Thank you. No, Johnny did a great job with all the different renderings of the character sheet and the heap. And I'm just now looking at it. This is
you're just getting to see it.
This is awesome.
Yeah, so we're gonna walk through the page. All right, so here's our video. Our video is actually excellent. I love how it turned out. We've gotten so many compliments on it. We've got the video, the voiceover work, the script, the graphics, which is great because like everybody who touched it has gotten some sort of comment. We'll come back and we'll talk about that a little bit. We've got this great. We haven't named this guy yet. We are going to do within the first 48 hours. We'll put out a thing to name this dude.
Look, I don't know if this project has legs beyond this particular campaign, but if it does, I want this guy to be around. I don't think that I don't assign gender to this character either. I don't know what this thing. I don't know what this creature really is. It's just a bipedal thing with eyes and ears and a mouth, and it's really gross.
Y'all are gonna tell us. I feel like I don't even feel like it hits any of the races or mutations specifically. It feels a little bit meat sacky, which is basically our human analog, but it also feels like something beyond that. I feel like it's like a skittering creature that is sentient and human, but is also just running around out in the wastes.
Yeah, it's some sort of, I don't know. I think like its soul comes from Mad Balls and the Garbage Pail Kids like mixed together. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it definitely needs a name.
So we'll do that. Let's see. Got a couple questions. Also, if you guys could do us a favor, just share this out. Share out not just the video. If you're watching somewhere, please share it. Put it in any groups you think would appreciate it. Share it to your feed, but specifically more so the campaign right now. You can go to ttrpg.link/grossrpg or just type that in to do it. Please, after you click share. I'd really appreciate it. So with John, you can tag me at +1exp and at. Type John at John DeCampos on Twitter. Charity Board Gamer, it's the link's actually right below the word repugnant on the screen. So if you look right there, that's the link. It's a short link. I don't use those long Kickstarter ones, and I don't have the page open to let me easily do it. Who did what? What'd somebody do?
Sean Christopher Charles Ricker is our very first backer, Cha-ching.
Sean.
Thank you, Sean. Michael
Sean,
says we're on our way.
We are doing excellent right now. It's really weird when you're in the back end. If you refresh, it doesn't actually always give you like the current number. But yeah, we're 25% of the way to our goal, which is awesome for the first couple of minutes. So yeah, we got this. We've got our flavor text here at the top. Just kind of a little bit of text to kind of set some of the feeling of the world. Which you guys know me. Like the first thing I want you to do is establish flavor on a page. So we did that. We got this picture of John and I pronounce this character's name differently. I realized I always call this character the Yechi, and I feel like you call it the Yucky.
I call it the Yucky. Yeah,
right.
Because it's supposed to be a take on Yucky.
Right. Which I get that.
Yeah.
Now I was thinking like, for some reason in my mind, I think I was pronouncing it like wretch, like as wretch.
Yeah.
Like Yetch. But yeah, no, I mean like. Here's the thing. I think in the southern part of the crust, they pronounce it one way. In the northern part, they pronounce it another way. But everybody knows it.
That tracks.
Then the next thing you want to do is your strong actual proposition for what your game is. So we hit people with the cover mock-up. We hit them with a kind of a short, how is this different or differentiate in value proposition next. And then what specifically you're doing, right? So this is a little bit about what the game is. And then specifically we want to hit what's inside. By the way, make sure you're getting some quotes on your page. Sarah, thank you so much for this quote. We got some really fun ones. The actual mock-up. Typically I would want to see the actual mock-up higher up in a campaign. But I just love the other art we did so much more, and it fit the flow of what we were doing better. So you got to know when to break your own rules. And so one of our team members, Johnny, did all these like laying on top of the trash mock-ups and pieces. He's doing all the layout for the game. And then here's the specifics of what you're getting, right? You're going to get 40 pages of foul, fun, and gross gameplay, a unique setting called The Crust that's toe jam-packed. I heard this so long ago, I don't even remember what the hell I wrote. Toe jam-packed with adventure. 5 original revolting races and unique messy mutations, character sheets, GM tools, and tables to help you get up and playing right away. Over a dozen creatively cruddy critters for your dwellers to deal with. 5 larval locations for your dwellers to explore. Amazing art by John DeCampos of Terrible Games. Access to our original D2 based covered in Chits system. I accused John the other day of changing the name of the system because I had written a much more provocative name early on, which was Squalid Chits, which is, I think, actually a better name, but I think this is more hackable and still just as much fun. And more.
I didn't change it.
We have other games.
No,
that's fine. I believe you. Here's some of those mock-ups. Here's the heap. We'll talk about that in just a second. Here's the character sheet, which has this. John, you did just such a great job of catching like that black pudding flavor and then like making it just like upping the gross on it also too. It's so good. Originally, I was trying to tell what these like popping pimples were. I thought they were maybe like backbones or something when you did like just your rough sketch.
Oh yeah,
But they're so good. This is your stat index up here in this corner, and so you'll write down the actual stat points, and then you'll get
the idea is like a person who's got a giant head full of fluid and they're squeezing it from both sides. Yeah. Like the entire sheet is just oozing bodily fluid.
I will put it in the promotions channel on the Quackalope Discord, or if you want to do it for me, you can. The shirt is going to be a thing. Somebody's got the question. We're at 350 now, about 35% of the way there. John, you want to do me a favor? Can you go drop in the event that we're live on Facebook, that Facebook event, and drop the link and maybe the link to this. John, thank you so much for sharing it. So the shirt is going to be a thing. We'll get to that in just 1 second, though. So here's just a set of all the mock-ups. This layout, it's so gorgeous. It is very dark, so we're going to have to do a plain text version and a printer-friendly version digitally, but don't worry, we will absolutely have that set for you. This great quote from Jesse over at Quackalope. Thank you, Jesse, so much for all your support. Can't wait to play the game with you. So here, let's talk about our Retch goals, which I'm super excited for us to pop some open. I'm also super excited about what John ended up doing with this graphic. Again, so at $1,500, so $1,000 is our funding goal. At $1,500, we will make mixes and matches on the character sheets of all the different existing character and mutation or race and mutation combinations so that you can just print out all the ones that you want to do. It's a lot of work, but we'll be able to have Johnny do that. So rather than having to write things down on your character sheet, you'll just be able to print and play, but we'll still have the blank one in the book for you to use without a doubt. At 2,000, you'll get a bag of chit. So in order to play the game, and I should have grabbed some of these before we sat down.
A steaming bag of chit.
Yeah, a steaming bag of chit. You need to have two things. One is what we call the heap, which is kind of this oracular hit sheet that you toss things onto. We'll talk about that when we get down to the how to play section. And then you need a handful of chit, so about 6 to 10, depending on character level. If you they'll come as a printable object in the back of the book. You'll be able to take that, or you'll have a page that you can kind of cut out and then glue onto like cardboard or a cereal box or whatever trash at your house you want to add it onto. That'll be in the back of the book. We wanted something easy. You could also play with coins, but they roll a whole lot more, so that's like hard mode. But they're these triangular chits. If you get the $30 level, which I think has actually been our most popular so far, you'll get a bag of those already. John's got those coming in a couple of days, so we'll be able to showcase those. And if we hit this $2,000 stretch goal, everyone will get them. And if you backed it at a higher level, you will get additional ones. So like it'll still go up for everyone, but we'll enhance everyone's chit experience whenever they do that. But you got to have a handful of chit to play this game. So that's that stretch goal. The Yetchi's Hole module will be an adventure. We're actually going to play through some ideas I have for that this weekend with people. If you want to be part of that actual play, let us know. $5,000 will do a world map of the crust with Kyle Latino, who did the Old Roads campaign that's finishing up right now, but stay tuned for more on that. John, also, we found some really cool stuff Phil Reed tossed out the other day for this game.
No, did you see the one? It starts off as like a 6x6 square, and as you pull the corners, it twists like it's like a balled up piece of garbage.
Yeah,
could it be any better?
Yeah. I love it. I just want to know if they do it like if they can take it out to that 11x17 size. I think that's a big question. If we need to adjust that, as long as we're doing the same general area, I think we're okay.
I mean, if we can fit it into something that fits with an A4 format under 6 inches on one side, so if it's 6x6, then I think that thing expands to bigger. I think it comes out to an even square, like 18 by 18.
Yeah, it does.
Let's go big. Dude.
Yeah, I think it'll actually be bigger, and so like I'm 100% down with it. And so $5,000 we get a map world of the crust. Pay attention, if you back at the normal physical level, you get the stretch goals digitally. You've got to back at that enhanced and encrusted level. To get the physical versions of the stretch goals, because they are mighty. So this one, John and I were kind of geeking out about the other day. $10,000 sounds from the Crust original soundtrack. This would be a like 40-ish minute long. What did we call it? Ambient or atmospheric crust punk.
Yeah.
John, you talk about how weird of a statement that is.
It doesn't make any sense because that doesn't exist. That's not a thing. Crust punk is a biting, fast, you're out of your breath. It's a heartbeat of a style of music. It's quick. Atmospheric or ambient kind of music is sort of, textural and sort of looming and in the background. And I don't know how we get to the middle of those two things, but
we're going to figure it out.
I don't know. We're going to figure it out. I'm working with a really gifted and awesome local musician and friend named Mike Walls, who is the engineer behind Audio Esoterica. We've done 2 records with him with my band Cowabunga Pizza Time, and the dude is a one-stop shop for DIY punk and rock and experimental musicians in Baltimore. So yeah, of course, I immediately reached out to him. He was like down, but he had 2 caveats. I told him what the time thing was, and he was like, cool, let me know as soon as we're ready to activate. And he asked me to actually be present to work on it with him, which I'm actually excited about because I did a project with Mike last year. It was a split album between our 2 bands, Infinite Pizza and Cowabunga Pizza Time. It turned out great. And I've been talking to him about working on an instrumental piece for a black metal Halloween performance I wanted to do called Ceremony of the Faceless. And he was down for that, but we just never, unfortunately, COVID ate our programming for the rock opera circuit we do here in Baltimore with the Baltimore Rock Opera Society, so we couldn't do it. So this will finally be a time where I get to really plug in with Mike and work on something. And I think it's going to be weird and experimental and cool. I think it's going to be radical.
Awesome.
And I put tapes maybe because I don't know if our backers care about tapes. I care about tapes. I would like to make a tape with a neon green translucent case and some cool jacket art and track listings and song credits and all that stuff. And all of this material will be released on Bandcamp, and it'll be emailed via digital download to all of our backers. But I would like physical stuff. And as to whether or not we actually mail those to backers, I don't know. We're gonna have to get through. We're gonna have to see what happens with this whole campaign. When the whole thing's finished, we'll talk and figure it out, I guess.
Yeah. That's again, we're committing to doing the digital version of that. We'll see about the print version of that. It may be an add-on. It may be something we can do. Certainly, I think if you get the ultra premium level and we do it, you'll get it. For everybody else, it may be an add-on item just because of the cost of doing them. So how to play. We're going to have a couple of videos up in just 1 minute. Tristan is working on finishing those up right now. 2 videos from me. One on character creation, one on the actual mechanic, and very, 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 very brief, because we've got a really cool, awesome mechanic that I'm absolutely in love with that we created. So character creation's easy. You pick a race, you pick a class. You pick a race, you pick a mutation. And so one is basically who you are, where you're from. All the races have balanced abilities. There's no real disabilities to being a race. We don't want people to think because like someone's a certain type of race that says anything other than like, hey, here's what their actual bodies are good at. And that is because some of them are roach people, some of them are mice people, some of them are hog people, some of them are weird variant, super hairy, ultra kind of apey humans. Other ones are irradiated hives of insects that have a hive mind and use
animate
trash.
things.
Yeah, use trash to build bodies like people because they want to be people, and you build out your abilities on that one a little bit more specifically. But the system itself, you'll take that handful of chits, and you'll throw it out onto this sheet called the heap. And the heap is kind of it's an in-world item that in-world oracles use to kind of tell you things. But when you throw it out, whether things land on the sheet, what side is facing up, and where they land on the sheet, I'll tell you something both about whether you succeeded and the narrative, but it's just a handful of D2s that you throw out on the sheet to see what you hit and where you hit. John did a phenomenal job taking kind of the classic humoristic philosophy elements. So yellow bile, black bile, mucus, and blood is the other one, but I almost think we should just alt it out to something grosser. Also to poop. And so but this is absolutely like design influencing art influencing design, because it was like, hey, here's my idea for this thing to John. John drew this up, gave it back to me, and now I'm going to go through and map out based some stuff we already have nailed down, the basics of hitting, dodging, the narrative elements, all those things. Those are bounced out, but some of the more subtle elements that you can use the heap for, I've got to go in now with the art and do things. But we've actually subdivided it in some pretty cool and unique ways. This will be the inside cover of the book. So the outside cover will come off. You'll be able to lay this down flat on your table and use it as this hit sheet in the middle. You only need one. Everybody can throw on the same one. Everyone can use the same handful of shit. Addable junk. We've got the shirt on here now. I think we should make the pizza box addable. We should add that in.
Okay.
Because I'm happy to order more pizza boxes.
Sure. So the pizza box will be an add-on where we can take everybody's pledge and just toss it in there, and then it'll go into a second box when we ship to them.
Actually, I'm 100% down with just sealing off that first box. And
you want to just back that up?
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of cool fancy boxes, but then because the other fun thing about that is everybody's box will show up individually and uniquely scuffed and scummed up from having gone through the mail system.
That's actually good.
So,
it might be a good idea for us to just take the boxes when we get them, and I'll just mix up like a bucket of brown, like semi-translucent brown yellow, and we'll just give them all a quick little. We'll just Jackson Pollock the whole lot of them.
I was just thinking Papa John's garlic oil, but yeah, I mean that works also too.
Oh yeah, we could just make them see-through.
And then I'm always a big fan of like, hey, show us who you are. So this is John's take on him, myself, and Johnny, who's doing our layout. We also had just video production was done by Tim. I'm going to mispronounce names. Brosius.
Yep, that's right. Tim, if you're watching or if you see this later, I love you. You're a dynamo. You're great.
We've got music by Enemy Insects, which is for the opening piece. Voice acting and sound production by Rex Anderson. Video is edited by Tristan Rios. You know who John and I are. Johnny is the guy who does most of my art and layout for all my stuff. Johnny is a team member here. He's on staff at Plus One EXP, but he lives in the Philippines. And so he was up late last night getting some stuff knocked out for us, all these mock-ups that you see.
Thank you.
Him taking John's art. So this is Repugnant. This is our RPG offering. It's live right now. We're halfway up. If you guys have questions though, let us know. So the shirt will be an add-on. The pizza box will be an add-on.
I'm gonna add the pizza box.
Yeah, if we end up doing the tapes of that, it'll be an add-on. There is a $300 level, which I know is high. John did a $300 level for Token Terrors. I did a $200 level for Beards and Beyond. They all disappeared. There's only 5 of them. Let me tell you real quick. Actually, let's roll through levels. I'll roll through all the levels, so you can decide which one's for you. We've got Basically Gross, which is our $1 pledge level. Everybody should do a $1 pledge level. Should never not have a $1 pledge level, but you should also give people for that $1 pledge level. That should be backer kit access or pledge manager access for us. Also, just a thank you. Like I did art for Beards and Beyond. We're doing a digital thank you card that John will come up with, and we'll both sign. It's digital, so you know. But do a $1 pledge level.
Yeah, I take that stuff seriously. $1 is $1, and I appreciate it. It pads the bottom line, and it's possibly a foot in the door for people to back us later. So I'll do an original piece of art that only those people are going to see. Right. And that's cool. That's neat.
Yeah. I mean, all of you should be doing something to say thank you to all your backers. So everybody gets that, but the $1 backers do also because we've talked about a lot on here, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and pop it up and plug it again. $28, 28 days. $28, 28 days. This is an initiative we have during Zine Quest where we're encouraging people to back one project a day for $1 to, a pound, right? Whatever your local currency is. And then share that project online via social media to let other people know about it. This gives the backer $1. It lets the Kickstarter algorithm discover it, and it helps other people discover it when you share it online. Even if you're like, hey, this project isn't for me, backing it at $1 lets that creator know that you support them, that you want them to succeed, and it helps other people find it. It's an absolutely helpful thing. No person I've talked to yet has ever been upset about somebody backing their game for $1. Like every creator's like, I appreciate the $1, like 100%.
Oh yeah.
And if all of you backed for $1, we just got like 1,000 people to do that, then we just have $1,000 bucks. It'd be great.
Yeah.
You don't have to make a game.
Mm-hmm.
We still would. I'm just saying. Will you eat the pizza first before sending the boxes? No, but we will eat pizza while we're sending the boxes. John and I are I'm in the middle, just FYI, because I'm going to say something that I don't want anybody to get upset by. John and I both take COVID stuff very seriously, but we don't know where we're going to be in April-ish, which we set the delivery date for October, but we're hoping to have it out way before that. But
hey, I got to know. I'd like to chime in really quickly. Part of the reason for that timeline is that I'll just be transparent about the process. So I got contacted by Kickstarter, and they were like, "We can't approve this project until X, Y, and Z gets done." And I was like, "Okay, well, I just did a big update about Token Terrors delivering sometime in the spring. We take that super seriously. I have another project planned for October that I want to get done called Black Mold, and." When I talked to Tony about putting it up on the Terrible Games thing, I just wanted to make him aware that like I had a little bit of conflict with clearing Kickstarter for the approval process because we haven't delivered on Token Terrors yet. But John at Kickstarter heard my case and put it in front of the people, and they were like, "You seem legit. You're good to go." And here we are.
Yeah. It's been. I didn't put this in the Terrible Games community. I'm a bad person. I mean, like, and that's the thing, like, talk to the people at Kickstarter. Like, everybody right now wants to make them the enemy in a lot of ways. Like, they're doing this or they're doing that. Like, overwhelmingly, they do want to work with you. Like, they make money when you make money, and so they want you to be able to make money. They don't want backers to become upset or risk the system that they have created being thrown out of bounds. So good conversations with them are always worth having. Anya and John are very receptive over there. We're actually going to be doing an interview with Anya and a couple other people on our channel as a Zine Quest 3 retrospective, and I look forward to next year. Some big conversations there about how, why, all the other things that we've been talking about for the last little bit. But let me see. Share this to a group. Terrible Games. There we go.
What's the copy on this pizza box, Tony?
What's the copy on this pizza box? It's good.
Is it? Well, it's awesome. Is it limited edition?
time
Is
where
it
I get to really plug in
exclusive?
with
Those
the
are
mic and
both
work
things
on
indicative of
something.
Kickstarter. I can't
And-
really. I just collectors.
I would say limited. Collectors, I think, works too. Either one, that's good. Both of those are good.
Collector's edition.
Yeah. And so, in addition to that, when you get the pizza box, you'll get what we're calling the Pizza Face Problems Adventure 2, which is an adventure I'm creating, and we're going to just drop in there. It'll come as a trifold brochure. It'll be a list of items, adventure hooks, and other things if you are playing, if you have a pizza face in your party, and it'll be focused around whatever fake, dumb pizza delivery, like gross, trashy pizza delivery system that we come up with, and I'm super excited about that. You guys are going to get to see me share some more stuff on the back end. You guys just saw me shoot out my email a minute ago because I forgot to do that. And then we are going to share this to a group. Terrible Games.
Where else can I share this?
Our live. We could put it any number of places. Who else loves you?
Did you share it in BGDL?
I did not. I've never tried to share a video there. You can put it in there.
I'll pop in. You get one. You engage. It's the 9-to-1 ratio, right?
Yeah. Anybody who doesn't know, I do this thing where like every time I do a live stream, I pick a group that I've never posted to before, and I share the live stream into that just to see what happens. Now, if they have a no sharing videos into it rule, I absolutely totally respect that, and I don't do it. But if they don't, I will share it in, and I've never gotten in trouble, but I have had some groups that have changed their rules after the first time I've done it. So anyways, just be aware of that. Let's I'm gonna pop our video up real quick for people to see, because we haven't done that yet. And then I'm gonna send out a Kickstarter update.
Welcome to this picturesquely putrid place, oozing with filth, garbage, and planetary fluid, known as the Crust. It's a complex cluster of cruddy communities inhabited by diverse and disgusting dwellers, each malformed with a myriad of messy mutations. Just normal folks trying to pick their way through the day, popping pus-filled problems, overcoming obscene obstacles, and filling time with their filthy friends. But it's not all farts and flicking boogers here. The Crust is filled with fabulously fetid fiends of all shapes, sizes,
Ryan, you didn't make number one, but you could be our number one $300 back.
The goal is gross, causes your stomach to squirm with speculation.
BGL, it says like you can post links to your campaigns, but like do it once and then don't anymore, right?
I
think so, yeah.
I think it says like be an active member of the community. You're allowed like one every 2 weeks.
The world's
I think maybe one every week. I mean, do it, and Gabe will tell us if we did a bad thing.
Yeah. My tone is apologetic.
Yeah. Which now they all know. Now they're all hearing us and saying, "Why is this in here?" So that was our video. It was an absolute phenomenal thing to back. Let's talk a little bit about pledge levels now. So we were talking about basically gross. We went over. Thank everybody. So now we've got digitally disgusting PDF, right? So this is our digital level. We actually went back and forth on the price for this. I think people need to charge more for their digital levels. I charged $6 last year. I looked at what other people charged. I think about the digital actually represents the vast majority of the work. I think the difference in the cost between your digital and your physical should be the cost of print. I'm actually a pretty firm believer of that at this point. Like if you give me a cheaper digital, that's great. I know a lot of people think, well, there's no cost, but the reality is like 50% of this book is essentially art and 50% is game. And like if I don't value my own time, I certainly value John's. I do actually happen to value my own time also too. And so I think you've got to price things at a level that makes sense. A little bit of a discount. Like it doesn't cost $6 to print our book. It cost like $3. But still, like I I think you should consider that that's basically the difference between your print and your digital. So an $8, $9, $10 digital, I think, is totally reasonable, and people should absolutely consider. Plus, at this level, you're going to get all the digital retch goals, right? So that's our digitally disgusting level. Level at $15, it's really repugnant. We're talking with our mouths full. Oh man, I cracked myself up. I really do forget things I write down and then later on discover them and think they're genius, and then realize I wrote them sometimes. So you get the digital copy, you get the PDF, you get all the digital retch goals, and you get the digital thank you card. We've got 3 backers at that level. Thank you, backers. We've got the $25 encrusted edition. You like our stuff and you want to be covered in it, and all the stink we can put on it. You get assigned and numbered by John and I. We're going to get together in person to pack these. I'm on schedule. This is what we were saying earlier. I'm on schedule for a COVID vaccine right now, so hopefully that'll happen between now and then. I'll be set and safe, but either way, we'll still take all the precautions we would normally take when doing that, including making sure that we don't risk exposure to each other, but also that we then kind of self-quarantine.
Yeah, it's also super easy for us because you're just in Philly. It's like a 3-hour drive, so you can isolate for a couple of days and drive here with no exposure. Like no problem.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. So we actually, rather than going through my fulfillment company or going through a fulfillment house, we just want to hand pack each of this. Like, we think it'll be fun. John and I have got to spend literally 2 hours in person together ever, but we spend a ton of time online together. So I just figured it'd be fun to come down for a night and a day or two and just get all these things knocked out and go see Baltimore and have an absolute blast while we're there. Buy some of my Baltimore rye whiskey while I'm down there. And so so this is a level we're going to see a lot of people come in at. I actually have been telling people this was my $25 level last year for Beards and Beyond was my most popular level. I think people should really consider what's the fun thing we can add to our game in Zine Quest that makes it worth adding $10. For us, it was a beard stencil last year. This year, it's the fact that you get the chits included, and we added in the physical versions of all the stretch goals. So what do you got, John?
No. I was just scratching my ear, but yeah, I think it'll be cool because I sourced. So we're gonna get the chits from GameCrafter probably in the next day or two. So we'll be able to have actual photos of what those look like. And then I ordered a bunch of 3x6 green tint translucent plastic baggies to put them in. So everything will be nice and on brand. It'll be matchy with the neon green. I'm excited to see everything together. I think it'll be really cool.
I'm super excited too. And also, John Hall knows what's up. Sagamore is absolutely the place to go. Their double oak is absolutely the best. I like all of their stuff, but
that is the Baltimore Spirits Company. That's actually co-owned by my good friend Eli Breberg Smith. Shout out to him. They make great gin and great rye whiskey.
Yeah. So super excited about that. So that's our physical level where you're starting to get all the other stuff. And then this is the ultra premium level. We could have gone somewhere a little bit lower. We probably could have done a level between this. We will add in a retailer level also too. Besides putting it in Terrible Games hands, putting it on the +1 store, it'll also be available hopefully through Exalted. I have little doubt it'll be available through Exalted because Matt has expressed that he wants the game. And
what is that?
Exalted's like a clearinghouse for indie. So Exalted, Spearwitch, Monkey's Paw in Canada, which may even talk to Monkey's Paw about doing Canadian fulfillment. It may not be a bad idea. And then Melsonian Arts Council, because some of kind of the same stuff in UK, but they're basically clearinghouses for indie RPGs. So I just made a Spearwitch order last night. Now I would love more retailers to care about indie RPGs. My flags in Seattle did. I don't have a local flags here. I have a game store, and I am going to talk to Johnny. I think there's too many Johns and Johnnies in my life. Johnny Destructo, who did some of our map work for Beards and Beyond, he owns the local comic book shop. I'm sure he'll get a set of them to put in there also too.
I bet you we could get some of these up at Atomic Books.
Yeah, I think if we reach out to people we know who are store owners, I think we'll do it. I think it's worth doing, but ours will be a flat 6 games plus something special for retailers for $60, right? Or for 60 for whatever our rate is. And then if they want to upgrade after that, if they want to go to the premium levels or whatever, we'll handle all that and the backer kit. But I think it's worth it. I wish more people would. But here's our ultra premium level. It is a truly massive amount of stuff, and I want you guys to understand why it's as expensive as it is. I also want you guys to understand that there are people who will back it. We might not get through all 5. I mean, it's a very busy month for a lot of people.
I mean, but just really quickly, just delete all of the physical items and everything to do with Repugnant. I charge $100 for character art.
Right.
The end.
Right. So that's one of the things to know. Like, one of the biggest things to know is it includes 2 signed and numbered copies of the game, 2 sacks of chits, and actually it's a acrylic set of sacks and chits that we're going to do for these specific levels that we may get up to for the entire game, but we're not starting out there.
See, when we were talking about the custom printed dice bags, I wasn't thinking about the acrylic chits at all.
There you go. So we'll talk about that in just a second also too. 2 sacks of chits, limited edition acrylic chits, all physical reticles, repugnant PDF, digital reticles, all add-ons will be included. So you'll get a shirt, you'll get it delivered in the pizza box, you'll get any other physical add-ons we're going to include already kind of tossed in, which is about $100 worth of stuff. A little bit more than that actually. So because we haven't talked about all the other add-ons that we're going to have, I will work with you to help you to include some of your content in our Pizza Face Problems Adventure menu that'll go into each of the boxes. So you'll get a little co-designer credit in that, and you'll work with me to add something that you love into that. So there's a design element you get to speak into, and then John will do a custom character for you in the game, and I'm happy to work with you on even a little bit of mechanical flavor to go into that for your specific character, and we'll print that out, and it'll come in your copy of the game also too. So there's that. It's a lot of stuff. Yeah. And if we just took out like my time and John's time, that's about $150 worth of stuff right there. And then on top of that, you add in everything we're going to produce in this campaign, which we haven't even announced all of yet.
Yeah.
And so that's what you get at the Wanton Wastelord's WAD level. Yeah, we are at Black Rainbow, who I love. These guys right here, they make these awesome dice bags. And Brady / Gravy over there, super cool guy. We've been trying to support his stuff as much as possible. Go to blackrainbownovals.com to check out all the stuff. We're gonna have a print and dice bag option in there. We're gonna do some custom art for the dice bag, but the print, I think we're just gonna do the cover for the print of the game because it's phenomenal. But it'll actually be glow in the dark and black light responsive also too. So imagine that, whoo, big and on your wall. And then
sans text, no branding text. It's just going to be the scene. Oh yeah, I want that. And
then the dice bags are also black light responsive and glow in the dark too. And so we're going to do a custom trash bag of chit dice bag. It'll come with a set of Black Rainbow dice also too, for whatever other gaming needs you have. And I think it's going to be I think it's going to be green and black because he did some green and black ones for Neon Lords.
Cool.
And so he's going to up the order on that and put green and black ones in. And so we'll have the same dice as the Neon Lords folks. But then our acrylic chits for our game will come in there also too. And so it's just going to be a really cool thing. That'll be a late campaign announcement, but we'll tell you guys today. And then it'll be an add-on after the fact for anybody who wants either or both of those.
Also, I mean, I saw Skullbox has been doing great. And they went ahead and just added enamel pins and holographic stickers to every pledge. I mean, we have this big gap in the middle between 5,000 and 10,000. There's probably a way for us to edge out. We can
probably add some more stuff in there. I forgot we needed to add our SRD notes in there also too. I want to make a tool list so that people can just know how to hack the system also too to make their own stuff.
Sure.
And so I think putting that in there as a physical goal, as either an add-on or a physical goal also too, is good. Yeah, Neon Dice Bros, right? Dude, we have already done more in the first hour than I did last year for Beards and Beyond. I actually need to hop on and do a backer update on this. Let's see if we can get a little bit more excitement out there. So this is the thing. The first hour after your game launches, like you got to go put it in all the places you can put it. And right now, we're not even doing that. Like we're doing it through our marketing elements. We're not doing it through like going out and posting in all the Facebooks, just hitting the tweet and the retweet and all that other stuff. I haven't gone and dropped it in any Discords yet because you guys would have to watch me do all of that, which is fine. But it's not as entertaining as the two of us talking together and just enjoying the people who really like were fans and were waiting for this drop and are here and are excited. And the reality is like we could have waited till the middle of the afternoon to do this and more people would have been awake. Like it was 8 a.m. on the West Coast. So we're just going to see this grow. Like at this point, you know, with 660 in the first hour, unless people just stopped right now, Like we'll easily fund, and we make it up to like 1,500 2K today. So I'm hoping we blow through one of those stretch goals a little bit later. But here's the thing, and John, talk about this. Like, you were super nervous the day of Token Terrorist. Like, one of the reasons we did this live stream is because I just loved watching you that first day be like so excited as everything was dropping, and I was like, everyone should do that. Like, this is a fun thing to be doing. Why aren't more people doing this? And so like I was super excited to be able to do it with you. And so tell me a little bit about like the difference between that launch, which you've been working on for like 2 or 3 years, 18 months, whatever, and this launch where it's like a couple months ago we were like, let's make a game. But having also done it twice, like what's your difference in perspective?
I mean, the overhanging pressure for this campaign is so much lower, only because the funding goal is lower. I mean, if for whatever reason this evolved into something that was seeking north of $5,000, I might be a little more nervous. But with one campaign for $29K under your belt, plus what you did with Beards and Beyond, we already know that like our network can hold us up a little bit, or very much rather. And it's like, we've really just been jamming and getting in the headspace of this game very recently, and I think it's proportionate to the size of the project. It's something that we both know we can execute on, and there's something in that when you're in that indie creator bubble where you're talking about getting your campaign ready and iterating your game in groups like BDGL and everywhere else. It's a different kind of headspace before you do that first campaign, and then after you do the campaign, it's a completely different one. And the emotional journey of going through those 30 days of seeing if that thing you've been working on for years is going to go through. This is just a lot different. I think that's why Zine Quest is such a genius idea, because it gives people an in. It's such an easy ask to be like, if you can drum up some artwork and you have some cool ideas about RPGs, like put together a book. It's not super demanding as a project, but I think we're scaling it pretty well, adding some extra stuff to make it a little special. It's still super exciting. It's awesome.
Yeah, I was talking to Phil Reed a couple weeks ago in Prestige class, because he says this absolutely mind-blowing thing, I think, to a lot of people, and that's he does Kickstarters for fun. And I think most of the time for us as creators, like, we're doing them because A, we want to make games, B, it's your first or second or third time, you're nervous, you don't know what to expect. But like hearing him say like he does them professionally at Steve Jackson Games, where he's CEO with his team for a living, and those are work. And then the ones he does for him are meant to be fun and to help him relax. So he puts something together, he polishes it off, he launches it out, and he hopes people respond. And if they don't, then he has a copy that he puts on his shelf and he just moves on. He also never doesn't fund projects. He doesn't do a lot of extra marketing. He doesn't do a lot of things. He just puts out really great games and really has a good time with it. But I think, anybody launching, like, build your community so that you feel safe and secure, so that you don't feel alone. Find good collaborators. Like, that's been the best part of this, is designing with somebody else. And like, anytime one of us gets stuck, it's like bounce, 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 bounce. All right, we're done. We're good. We're out of the haze, right? And the other thing I think from other interviews I've talked to, like, you should be excited to play your game. Like, John and I are always playing Token Terrors. Like, I love playing Beards and Beyond, even though I haven't done a lot of public play with people. We got our first one coming up this Sunday, actually, our first ongoing campaign piece. But like, that actually makes things a lot easier. And talking to Sarah and Dan from Planar Compass, like, they played D&D together, and that's why they started creating. And John and I, like, this game came out of playing Neon Lords of the Toxic Waste and a lot of other conversations. And shout out to Brian. Even if you weren't number one, hopefully you're a number one $300 backer. But it was just such a blast, and your game should be fun. Doing a Kickstarter should be fun. If you don't fund, you can always repackage, come back, figure out what went wrong, and go.
And what is more fun than just unapologetically ripping a mean, monstrous fart in the company of others and having no shame about it?
Right.
There's nothing more fun than that.
And so I want people to just know, like, hey, like, it's like, games are here to be played for people to have fun. You should have fun making them. And so Michael King, were you number one? Were you number one in our hearts and our heads? We can look at that on the back end in a second and shame somebody. Billy Blue wants to know more about the Chits. Yeah, we talked about them a little bit. So there's kind of 3 incarnations of the Chits. You need the Chits to be able to play the game. They are essentially just a bunch of D2s. So you could play with coins, but we think that's hard mode, because there's 2 things about our game. It's not flipping a coin to see if you win or not. Prol and other D2 systems are great, but it's actually grabbing a handful of these triangular shaped chits. And you get a handful of chit, and then you do one of 3 different types of things. If it's a overt or physical action, you raise them up to somewhere between 1.5 feet and 2 feet above the hit sheet, the heap as we call it, and you just drop them down. If you are doing a ranged or more cunning action, you're gonna fling them, so you're gonna stand 18 to 24 inches away from it, and you're gonna kind of do a little toss at the sheet. And see where they land, see how they land, see which sides are up or down, and see where you land on the sheet itself. And then you're going to, and then you're going to look at where it lands, and that's going to give you some narrative information about how successful you were. You know, what some of the narrative impact was. There's also kind of an auricular capacity where, as the collector, what we call the GM, you can kind of just fling it out. And so, anyways, there's a lot of just really, really, really cool stuff about the system itself. I actually don't, there's a couple other games that obviously are board games that have some of that quality of like land certain points, get certain abilities or skills or other things like that. But I don't actually know of another RPG that makes use of this type of system at all, but the triangular ones let them land. So in the back of the book, there will be like the last page, there'll be a digital version of it also too. The ability to cut out the chits, paste them down on some piece of garbage at your house, whether that's cardboard, whether that's a cereal box, whatever it is, and make your own chits. So that's kind of default mode. If you get the $15 level and you don't add any chits on at the end, that's what you're going to get. At the encrusted edition level, you're going to get a little bag of chits. And actually, I'll pull that image up in just 1 second so that people can see it. And then you'll be able to have these punchboard, chipboard, cardboard chits in either bag of chits. As we upgrade those, you'll get more at that encrusted edition level than you would normally, so you just have more chit to play with. And then I didn't cover the last type of throw. It's a flick. We'll talk about that later. And then at the ultra premium level, you'll get acrylic. I think we will have a higher up stretch goal where if we just like blow this out of the water, like if we get up to the 15 to 20K level, we'll upgrade the chits to acrylic chits probably across the board because we'll be able to scale it then.
That makes sense.
But this chits is a game. And so I'm super excited about it. The heap, the picture of the heap is on the campaign. I'll walk through it a little bit. This chits is a game changer. And it'll be hackable. Like that's the thing. Like John and I didn't create this so that we could have a cool thing. Like I love taking my games and making them in a way that this is unique to RPGs, right? That other people can just do stuff with them. Like I want you guys to make races. I want you guys to make mutations. I want you guys to figure out stuff that you want to do on the crust. And if it's cool, like we'd love to work with you to like get it out into the world. If you're like, hey, I love this system, but I don't like some part of what the game is, or I want to go make my own thing with it, that's great. I can't wait to take the covered in shit system and make a 2-page RPG with it, where one side is the rules and the other side is some sort of like hit sheet. I think that kind of stuff is so cool, and I love being able to do that. So we're just gonna pop it out to everybody with our SRD and do that. If we get, we'll probably add this to the $7,500 level. We'll probably add a print version of the SRD in there also too. Hey Drew, I like the pre-made character sheets also too.
Yeah, it is sick. It's really slick. Slick is right.
Billy, yeah, absolutely. So I would recommend that the $25 early is the level that people want to back at. It's 2 reasons. One is the physical chits. The other one is the physical stretch goals. So if you do the $15 level, you get our stretch goals digitally. If you do that higher level, any of the physical stretch goals we unlock, you'll get the physical level. That's not add-ons. That's just the stretch goals. And so I think it's 100% going to be worth it to get up to that level.
You think there's any chance of us doing like a really thin, like 4 to 6 sheet insert for the Yeki's Hole module?
Yeah, you know what? It'll probably only be 2 pages. So if we lay it out right, like I don't think adventures need to be long. Like I'm not. Right. I don't think So which is 2 pages is 4 pages of zine stuff, right? Like it's it's actually 8 pages of zine stuff if we do it right. So yeah, I think we could probably get that up to physical also too, because we could print those ourselves or mass print them somewhere. I really want to go uncoated for the most part with this. We'll need to do a test print of that to see how the front cover line work stands up to that. But since it's just those two colors, I really want to go with that kind of rougher, fully matte feel of the uncoated.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think we could? I wanted to see if we could do a thing if we're printing with Mix'em where like we have them order like 3 or 4 different shades of green and then like mix them all up and then run them into the machine.
We'll get on a call with Mix'em and talk, because what I would love to do is just pay for. I'd pay them full color prices if they're willing to do stuff like that, but I really just want to be printing black on sheet, right? And so that's what I'm hoping we
absolutely.
can do. And so, but if not, we'll look at local printers. So I'm going to talk to Fireball here in Philly. I know there's some good ones. And can we talk for a second real quick about print companies that are excellent print companies that have horrible graphic design and how that shouldn't be a thing? One of the things I love about Fireball, one of our local companies, is their graphic design for their stuff is just phenomenal. And they sell local artists' work that they've printed. They buy them from them and then sell them in their store also too, which I think is just really cool. So I think Fireball is a phenomenal company. So I'm going to get a quote from them also too. We'll just see how competitive everything is. But yeah, we'll get on a call with Mix'em and talk to them also too.
Yeah, I mean, I always do all of my shorter run stuff with Work Printing and Graphics in Pigtown. They're really cool. They they actually supported us a bunch during the development of Token Tears, because I was coming down there like once every 2 weeks, like getting rule books reprinted or getting playtester cardstock boards made. And at a certain point, I had talked to the owner enough times about the game that I came in there and got like probably a $60 order worth of cards reprinted. And he was like, "You can just have them, man." And I was like, "For reals?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to back the game. Like, it sounds awesome. I just want to support you and like see you do well." And you keep on coming in here and getting stuff reprinted for the 3rd, 4th time. So yeah, they're awesome. So yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, some people in the comments are saying like, Mix'em is pretty rigid. I get it. Like, they're a large online printer. There's also there's another printer that I've been looking at that I'm trying to remember the name of right now, and I can't. I feel like it starts with a J. That looks really good, but we'll get a couple quotes. We'll ask around. Like, the reality is, like, we've done our price work on the general cost of things, so we're not worried about that. It's really just about finding out what we want to do. If I thought it was going to be at all possible, I would love to have gone like risograph print on this. I don't think it would get the lines as well as we want though. But I think it would have been a cool way to go. I also just have a hard time with the fade on Riso. But I love the coloration of it. And I think we could have done some really cool stuff with layering had we wanted to go that route, but that would have also been a lot more
with the cover and the heap on either side. I mean, it might be worth it and especially since it's going to get folded and just sleeved over the top of the rest of the book, it might be a cool idea for us to just go full color on that so that we can get that color differentiation in Johnny's render of the heap. And then, I don't know, maybe even do a couple highlight tones on the cover. And then the rest of the book can just be black on green.
Yeah. So,
because it's a completely separate component. And I assume we're going to get all this stuff, and when we do the packing, we can take the sheets, and if they're already pre-creased, we'll just put them over top of the book and pack everything else together.
True. I didn't think about that. We could just kind of keep them separate and not have to worry about that. Yeah, we'll figure it out. I mean, like I said, like I'm not that part's the easy part. Like, once you get the games, it's easy. We've got to do John's got more art to do. We've got to do this race specific art. Like, so far, everybody in the art was either gender neutral or male presenting for the most part. So we're going to do some female races, but like that takes consideration in some different ways that we've been going through.
Because none of these, there's like some interesting choices to be addressed in like how genders are represented, considering that like a lot of, this thing completely just flies in the face of gender norms in every possible way, because there's no personal hygiene. There's nothing beautiful or sexy about anything in this world. It's all gross. And so we'll see. I am going to do like a male female on the different races, or just it'll be 2 beings and you can figure it out, like, it doesn't need to like hit you over the head with anything like, oh yeah, because this one has giant titties, that's obviously the female. Like, maybe there just won't be memories in this world.
Haggos got them big titties no matter what, and so
Haggos have titties no matter what, and I think that tits on a roach insect human hybrid would be as bizarre as this world already is, I think that's just over the line.
Yeah, well, like we even we were looking at the roacher and we were like, okay, like, well, the difference between a male and a female roach is the length of certain parts of their bodies.
Oh, the
like,
female should just be bigger.
Yeah,
the
just,
female
that's
should be
it.
bigger and stronger.
And
for
so,
real. Yeah, in the insect world, usually the female insect is like the more powerful predator. Yeah.
The Drew says the video is killer, so killer. And you may not know the answer to this because neither one of us edited it. Do you know if he animated the head in Adobe Characterizer, or do you know how he edited it?
Yes, the way Tim. So I talked to Tim and I was like, I kind of had this idea about doing like 2 or 3 different mouths so that we can make it look like the guy was talking. He was like, absolutely do that. I will send you over an image of different vowel shapes. There's like 8 different mouths. Give me 3 kinds of eyes. There's an automated thing in my video editing stuff, which I'm assuming is probably the Adobe Characterizer stuff, where he was like, if you just produce these assets, I have to do almost nothing. I just have to click a button and it'll do it for me. Like it'll assign the mouth shape to the vowel of the voice actor, which he got isolated tracks from Rex. So Rex sent him the sound bed for all of the audio minus the voiceover, and then sent him the voiceover by himself. And I guess he just plugged the voiceover into this program and it did it on its own. That's why it was like super easy to pump out.
That's cool. I'd love to learn more about that. Like, I think it's absolutely worth setting aside, and this would actually be my experience from 2 years now, and both of it was like, we know a guy, right? So it may not be this much, but setting aside $200 to $300 for a video for your game is not an unreasonable thing to do, to get an editor in there who knows what they're doing. And so, and you probably know someone, you know.
I mean, I'll tell you, we did one, our first pitch video for Token Terrors, which was done by, I know a guy, like literally some of my best friends, with, pro camera equipment. And we got a set, we bought costumes, we had actors who were also friends, but people who acted. We did this whole thing. Finished and done with the most friendly of discounts you could possibly imagine for a product of that scale, $800, and we never even used it. It didn't.
And it's a good video, but the game just evolved so much beyond what it was at that point in time. Like, the video perfectly explains like what it is to how it works in the magic concept, but it didn't catch the actual beauty of. If you haven't checked out Token Terrors yet, you should. Like, you should go check out Token Terrors. Whenever everything's ready, it'll be one of the few Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition live streams we ever do. But we're going to play some Token Terrors, Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. We're going to play through Terra, John studying a little bit with some of the monsters and other stuff like that, so people can get a sense of how to do it on stream. So keep an eye out for that. But I mean, like, I had a blast. We're already at we're at 77%. Let's stick around a little bit longer, see if we get up a little bit higher. I'm going to go post it in a couple more places in just a second. But it's, I mean, like, this is like, if you're worried about your launch, get a friend, hop on, like, even if it's just Google Plus Hangout to a YouTube channel or Zoom to Facebook, like, and just chat with them about your game for the first hour that it's launching. It's an easy way to take off the edge. And so, let's see who else. What do we want to? I haven't just like tweeted about it. Other people have, I'm sure.
I'm not really great at Twitter.
Like some things by somebody else. Let's see. Use dim hashtags. And then I have a bunch of groups that I post things in, but I'll do it on rotation over the course of the next 2 weeks. And I'll hit a couple of them a day, every day. Some of them are board games. Some of them are RPGs. I post it in everyone because you know what? You got friends everywhere. Let's see.
John threw it up on his Discord. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, Drew, I'm seeing your comment about the VO. Thank you. I'll tell Rex that you almost threw up. He's a really talented dude. Good friend of mine.
And 77 funded.
787. We're close. I can smell it.
I mean, we're just one $300 backer.
Yeah, we need one $300 backer to drop in.
Get over the heap.
I'm trying to think where else I could send this. I'll go tell the bros about it.
game.
I'm gonna post to the Baltimore Rock Opera Society because they're my homies.
Yeah, and I would say, like, think about who are your groups who just want to support you. Who are groups who might have interest in this? Like, this uniquely is a game where I don't know any group where I'm like, hey, these people are really into gross stuff. I'm gonna go post it there that I'm a part of on a regular basis.
I think the thing that I want people to sort of like maybe I hope that it hits them the way that the idea sort of like congealed between us is like. I don't think the hook for the game is that it's about snot and boogers and farts. It's about subverting the norms of the RPG setting, right? It's about like getting out of your skin as an RPG player and experiencing something different. It's the experience of trying to find that sort of shameless modus operandi to just not give a fuck about social norms and politeness and, all the finery that a lot of medieval settings are surrounded by. The whole genesis of it was when I got to snort rainbow dust out of a corpse in Toxic Wasteland. And I was like, man, that was just so fun. That just felt so cool.
John, all right, and then we're gonna tweet that out. Any ideas for where we should go post this, folks? We got Discords. We're gonna post it. We'll post it up in Quackalope. We'll post it up in the Brain Trust in a little bit. We'll post it up in Absolute Tabletop. We'll hit the rounds on the Facebook groups. The other great thing about having a collaborator is that John and I can each post in those groups. Like usually the rules are about once a week, which is even better. It's even better. I'm super excited about it. So, what questions do you guys have? Hit us up. Let us know your questions.
We're officially at 1 hour because we launched at 11:08. So 1 hour in, we're almost there.
Yeah, doesn't have a Discord, and I am not inclined to make another Discord. John has a Discord that I don't think he uses that often.
No, I need a community manager. Anybody out here wants to be a community manager for Terrible Games? Hit me up. I'm too busy to actually be hands-on with that the way I need to be.
Hey, Wes Woodbury backed, shared, and tweeted. Keep at it. Thanks, Wes. Thank you, Wes. Phenomenal designer. I've got his game, Die in the Dungeon. Can I reach it? I can.
I got Die in the Dungeon behind me. Also, I've been doing, Wes has been awesome. I've been doing the artwork for his new game, Questeros. It's coming out pretty soon. I think in the next month, if I'm not mistaken.
The art on Questeros has been phenomenal to watch develop. And so if you like the art on our game, another great piece to look at. Thank you, Brian, for tossing it up on your stuff. Thank you, Drew, for sharing it in your Kickstarter. So I am active in the Brain Trust Discord, and we are creating a +1 space on the Paddle, which is the Quackalope Discord. So we're creating an RPG space there that I'm going to help mod and run and make sure is active. And so that's really where we'll live. Maybe we'll probably create a Beards and Beyond and Repugnant space specifically in that eventually, if we really need one. But I also just like, zines can have their own space, but I like collaborative spaces so much better. For one thing, less pressure for me. It's one of the things I love about the RPG zine groups. Tim gets to deal with all the Gothridge Manor gets to deal with all the complex stuff in there. I just get to be a part of the community. And so, I love it, so we're both active on Discord in different ways and different places. But I need to actually go through and cull my list of servers because I don't hang out in a lot of them actively, and it just keeps my Discord thing cluttered. Anybody who wants us to come in their Discord to talk about it, if you guys ever want to do an interview, a stream, have us come play for your community, let us know. We're happy to do that.
Dude, I'm super excited to actually get into the system and play. I assume you're going to be the collector when we play?
Yes, I will be the collector when we play because that keeps us from having to have all of the things done. I'm going to pull up the character sheet, or all the things written down. We're going to hop up mine in your chat. We're going to make it big, open in Messenger so that I can easily pull up the character sheet. Yeah, let's talk about the character sheet. All right, so here's the character sheet. Let me make sure that looks... Oh, that's perfectly framed. Excellent. Here's the character sheet. First of all, John did a phenomenal job on this. This is obviously white and black. It'll get transferred over. The only change we need to make, and I know I told you this, John, in a message, but we need to make a spot for XP. I actually think this fingernail down here at the very bottom might be an excellent XP spot.
Okay. I was thinking about. I'm glad you said that, because I was like, that's wasted potential. We got that finger down at the bottom, not doing anything.
Yeah, because I think it'll work. I think it'll work well there. This is the character sheet. So this is the blank character sheet. There's basically 2 questions you have to ask yourself when creating a character for.
They're saying they can't see the character sheet on Facebook, which is true.
Oh, it's because hold on. There we go. I forgot. I put it up in my sample. So it had excellent black pudding vibes. That John just killed. He was already headed that direction. And was. I'm not an artist. I have just so much respect for.
You're a different kind of artist, Tony. Don't sell yourself.
I have the artistry of bullshit. No, I'm good with the words, and I'm creative. I'm not a fine artist or a material artist. Anyways, this little fingernail down here at the bottom is the one we were talking about potentially being good for the XP marker, but this is the blank character sheet. So John was talking earlier about how this is basically a pus-filled face that this person is squeezing down, popping some zits, shooting some snot out their nose. So we've got this nose here at the bottom, the name and race to one side. We've got the player name and level on the other side. This bottom fingernail will become XP. And so here's a couple things, and I just sent John like a like plain text. Here's generally where information should go, image, and then he turned it into this, this was like a set of column, like rows and columns over here on the scuzz and mag points. So scuzz are your stats, and then carcass is your physical characteristics essentially. So your scuzz, there are 3 types of scuzz. There are 3 essential stats in the game: revulsion, which is your physical stat; disgust, which is your mental stat; and shame, which is your social stat. So those are the 3 types of scuzz that we can accumulate in game. Your magnitude is the level that they start at. That's determined by 2 choices: your race and your class. And then some of them have kind of a little bit more fiddly options to it. But your race will give you a little bit of scuzz, and then your mutation is what gives you the vast majority of your scuzz points. So what happened?
We're at $900 is what happened. We're $100 away from funding.
Boom. So, and then your carcass is your hit points are your meat, and your speed and dexterity essentially, though not in a action control way, but more of in like a dodge and movement way, are determined by your feet. So you got your meat and your feet. The majority of your carcass points come from your race, but some of them get added in for your class also, or your mutation. So you're going to pick a race. You're going to talk about how you've been mutated by the wasteland. The 5 races, if I can ever do them right, are meat sacks, which are basically like ultra hairy alt humans. They love stuff.
They're like Neanderthalic.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not mentally in that state. They're higher. They have higher intelligence, but they look like Neanderthal.
The whole crust is so imagine WALL-E, where the world is getting covered and completely demolished by trash, and humans take off into space. And this is a little bit of spoiler stuff for some things we have later in the campaign, but you're here day one. We love you. Some people did that. Some people shot off into space, and they may be showing back up as some big bads.
And if you look at the cover art in the page feed, you'll see this thing in the middle of the sky, surrounded by a vortex of smog. Their generational spacecraft is actually modeled to look like a sealed Burperware, Tupperware plastic container. So they took their biome, they put it inside of a giant plastic, like walled-in structure, and then they put a fresh seal lid on top and flew off into space.
And that part of humanity is obsessed with cleanliness, with hygiene, with order. And then there's the people who stayed behind, who were like, this is our planet. We don't care if it's going to crap. We're the ones who crapped it up. We want to be able to live here. And those people evolved and mutated into all the different dwellers on the crust who all get along. Again, races in this setting are just, they're all people. Like they're not, and no one, like there are some like affinities and tribalisms, and there are people you don't get along with, just like there are in anything else. But that's not based on the lines of race or anything else. And so. So anyways, your body has mutated in some way, shape, or form, but your race is going to give you 2 abilities. And so like if you're a human, you're this, or a meat sack, you're this, which is another Neon Lords throw out, because originally they were like meat shields, was what we hired a bunch of meat shields, and then that became just meat sacks in our.
Actually, a little bit of background on there. I'm a longtime listener of a podcast by comedian Dan Cummins called Time Suck. And he calls his listener meat sacks when he's just as a colloquial term to mean we are all just meat inside of a skin bag. Like,
right.
Stop getting hung up about race and gender. Stop getting hung up on all this stuff that's artificial and doesn't matter and constructed. We are all skeletons with stuff on it. So yeah, I sort of borrowed that actually from that was the inspiration there.
So humans are highly adaptable. So they can they also love stuff. So they will oftentimes mat things into their hair based on like tribal, like their significance, personal, like discovery, or just things that are important to them. They'll like weave it into their hair or mat it down with like mucus and other fluids. But that basically means that once per session, you can pull an item out of your hair. Once per session. If you're a meat sack, you can also, they're highly adaptable. So they get a free floating scuzz point to assign in one place that they want to. And then the other one is that they can use other types of scuzz as long as the player can name narratively to power different abilities. We can talk about that in a little bit. We've got the Roaches after that. Roaches are human roach hybrids. It basically is a mix of adaptability and survivability. They're hive insects, so they get an extra social stat, which is shame for us. And they are quicker, but less hardy than a lot of other ones. They also have the abilities that they have flitter, so they move around more easily because they can't fly, but they can float, hover, or jump long distances by using their wings. And then they have an extra set of chitinous limbs, so once per session you can basically either do one action twice as fast or 2 actions at the same time without any sort of penalty. You've got the Vermin, which are probably my favorite. They're cunning, they're crafty. They also are excellent like dumpster divers. So
they can dislocate their joints.
Yeah,
and like
like crawl through the. So they can basically jump into a like even if there's not a tunnel, they can jump into a pile of trash, find a small opening, like start popping their body out of joint and keep on pushing their way through to get into non-accessible spaces. They can also, they have a prehensile tail that they can use as an extra arm. And so, or other type of limb. So, and then we've got the Haggos, who are hog people. They are big, they are heavy, they are fat, they have a lot of meat, but far less feet. And they have extra revulsion, extra physical stat. And then their ability is that they're hyper creative, so they can use items in unusual ways to great effect. And I've got to look at the other one because that's a lot of information off the top of my head right now, and I'm trying to remember what their
the
other
junk
ability
punks.
is. No. What the Haggos' other ability is, and that was actually, the hardest thing was like, especially being sensitive to a lot of the conversations around like orcs and what are orcs and all that kind of stuff recently. I just wanted to avoid any of our races being like the martial race or the dumb race or the bad race, or like
absolutely.
Any of those things. So we were really intentional about that. Just like every race is a good choice. You pick it based on what you want. I got to pull up my back end notes.
Yeah, I mean,
here.
if anything, calling to the reality of the animal kingdom, both rats and pigs are extremely intelligent.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna pull it up so I can look at it because again, it's a lot of stuff to keep in my head. What's down on page? And especially as when we get into classes, it'll be next level hard to keep all that stuff straight. Haggos, free from shame. Once per session, when a Haggo is asked to make a shameful throw, he can substitute another scuzz instead. They just have to define it narratively. So basically, like Haggos aren't they aren't ashamed of anything as a cultural reality. And so once per session, they can use a different stat in place of shame, which is one of my favorite things about them. They just are who they are and they don't care. Junk punks are the most unique race by far. They are basically a build your own body race. So they're these irradiated hive-minded insects. They
like mites and
Yeah.
like chitinous, like little tiny worms and bugs, little small guys.
Yeah, and they basically are this mess, and they've basically shoved themselves into bits of trash, and they pick up other bits of trash and they put it on themselves. And you actually decide, what is your head? Is your head a screen? Is it a lens, or is it a device? And that gives you a little bit of a stat boost. You pick whether you have a large, small, or medium core, which is like your body, which determines how much meat and speed and meat and feet you get. And then you basically pick what one of your hands is. Is it an appliance? Is it a cutter? Is it a swarm? And if it's an appliance, you get like an elemental attack at a close distance. If it's a cutter, you could get a melee attack that you can add in, or you'd be able to cut through meat things. And then or is it a swarm? Like, do you just want the ability to like spray out something on a nozzle that lets you like release the insects out to do like horrible things to other people, but basically it gives you some sort of attack bonus. Their other ability that I love is called Part of the Whole. So they can separate a part of their body from the main hive and operate it remotely. So the junk punks can literally like take off their head, stick it somewhere, their body can walk away, and their head can still monitor that area and engage with people. But the RP levels for like junk punks is super good. And you can kind of build like the specifics of what you want it to look like. I really hope if anybody backs at that $300 level that they're picking junk punks, because it'll give us a fun chance to build out very specific. But like we started out with like, is it a TV? Is it a like a set of speakers, or is it like what we called a Roaches sketch, like which was device, which is cool, but also not exactly where we wanted to go. We wanted to go a little bit more freeform. So I love where we landed on that concept.
I kind of see like this like really zoomed out narrative where like there was a division in the world of insects where the roaches were like, we're untouchable. We don't need the rest of the bug world. We're going to go evolve in a different direction. Y'all do you, we're good. And then all the other bugs kind of figured out how to pull their resources so they could become, irradiated lifeblood to animate machines and, try to interact with the rest of the bipedal world through inhabiting garbage.
And they want to be people, like, so they it doesn't,
they really do.
It doesn't matter what they are, but they also like, they want to be like flesh people. And so like they keep all of their waste, they keep all of their pus, they pull up other fluids so that they can mimic all the actions. So all of the mutations are still fully accessible. It's like if you look on the cover, there is a junk punk pizza face, like one of the mutations where but he's all just, Joe was like, how do I do that? And I was like, just tubes, lots of tubes. They've got internal tubes. And I was like, oh, I typed in torn off baby face, doll face with holes in it. And I was like, don't do that. That sounds horrible. And he was like, too late. And so if you look on the cover, actually it's on the graphic right next to it. So that guy in the trench coat, if you look close, he's got all these tubes and he's got a baby doll face on the front of like some sort of clean thing that he can.
So it's a baby doll face that's like glued onto a circa 2006 single unit iMac monitor.
Yeah.
And also the trench coat motif, I have to say, was inspired by the second run of Ninja Turtles, Detective Donatello. Had to.
So anyways, those are all the races for now. Like, if people get excited, if you guys have ideas, like we're going to build some stuff during the campaign together. If we got higher up stretch goals, we may put in some more content. We may put in some more pages. Right now, we're trying to keep it as simple as possible, even with all the stuff that we have. But if we get up to higher levels, we'll certainly talk about adding some other stuff and take some submissions for that. Somebody threw out like the lack of vomit specific motif. That's fine. Like, we're $41 away. We're coming right up on it. All we need is one $300 level backer to put us over the top. I'll say it every single time. So that's all the races in the world, right? So classes are, I'm gonna have to track through this all because I know them all, but I don't want to.
I know them pretty well. I know most.
Go ahead and hit us with one of them, and I'll go to that thing and make sure we stay.
We'll start off with the Slamore. They are the snot-based class, and they can like use their mucus in a number of ways. They can focus it into like hardened booger weapons. Like if you ever had really hard boogers in the wintertime, you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
they can use their mucus to make their feet and hands and other surfaces slick so they can slide around on stuff, or they can make them super adhesive. They can also make the snot into like almost a rope. So it's kind of like a Spider-Man almost ability with these guys, but they have no sense of smell because they're really stuffed up. They kind of like have this phlegmy sort of like low-lying cough / cold pretty much perpetually. But yeah, those are like sort of our ranger class. I kind of picture them as like a ranger class.
Yeah, and they're good physically. They've got some disgust. They've got a little bit of shame. They add a little bit more speed, but a good amount of speed, but a little bit of meat to you. But yeah, their two abilities are mucus strands and then mucus manipulator. So they can shoot out those long ropes as a default ability. Every single one of them can do that. Anytime you're using these abilities, they take something out of you. So that's what the magnitude gives you a set of points in your stat that you can use to trigger abilities. So there's a little bit of min-maxing that can't happen, but you can just ignore it and go for it also too. Because you can buy more stats when you level up. The level system is, other than abilities, like your stats are completely divorced. You can level up any stat you want to at any level. Like just every time you get 5 XP plus your level, you spend it to level up. You can either buy an ability or add something to your meat, feet, or one of your scuzzes. And so
I want to play.
Yeah, we were trying to get actual play up today, but we're going to wait a little bit so we get a little bit more done. And we had enough going on. We just wanted to focus because we really want those chits to get in, and I want to print out a good copy of the heap before
that's a good idea.
We go. And so they can do that. They're mucus manipulator abilities that you start off with one of these, you buy the rest through play. Loogie shot, snort and hawk a powerful loogie a far distance with a successful flick. That should probably just be a fling. I'm gonna make notes as we go. Snot rocket, blast a boogie out to create a concussive force at a near distance by spending 1 revulsion. Mucus masher. Produce a hardened clump of mucus and craft it into a simple item or weapon that adds +1 to a specific roll, like specific set of rolls. Phlegm trap. This is one of my favorites. Spend 1 point to quickly craft a trap out of your nose juice items in the surrounding environment. GM may require a toss for this, right? This is meant to be largely huge narrative, but then the setting off of it may require a toss to see how effective it is. And then their master ability. So everybody has 4 starting abilities, and then they have a master ability that basically is like, all right, I've unlocked this, right? You have to get 3 out of the 4 base abilities before you can unlock it. And this one, theirs is called Snot Sidekick. Create a living embodiment of your snot as a sidekick you control. Negotiate with the collector to determine its abilities. That was taking that ranger theme and kind of bringing that back in really hard at the end. And so it's a really, 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 really fun ranger style class. But you then could have like a snot dog, right? Or you could have like a snot like sibling, like they could be a little human or whatever.
Oh,
like,
you know what I do with that in a ranger class? I try to make a snot doppelganger.
A snoppelganger?
Yeah, something like that, like a snot duplicate that has a passing resemblance and definitely in silhouette mode can look at like me from far away.
That's cool. Yeah. So anyways, you negotiate with the GM. You may roll at the beginning. Like it's kind of a figure it out process for that. Every class has essentially that as their master ability, like something that's a negotiated piece. So next is John and I pronounce all these things slightly different because we've written them down mostly, and then it's whatever comes to live in your head is how do you pronounce the fart class, John?
Oh, the olfactory?
Sure.
Olfactory? Olfactory?
Sure.
It needed to sound fancier, right? Olfactory. It's more mystical sounding that way.
So somebody's asking me an important question right now in a different chat. I am streaming our launch right now.
John, to answer your question, I think so. The thing with the chits is that the custom chits that are going to come with the game, you could play remotely and have the collector do all of your chit throwing onto the heap physically. And, if you want accountability on their part, that's between you and your collector if they want to throw a camera on there when they do their tosses. Otherwise, there's going to be an instruction page in the back of the book that's going to have the images printed on the custom chits we're including in the in the actual production versions, where you'll be able to cut out the triangles and then glue them to like a cereal box or a piece of cardboard in your house and cut out the cardboard to shape, and you'll have your own chits at home that you can just DIY. You can just make it out of trash.
So we had to actually deal with accessibility some on this, and actually like we'll have to do a plain text version of the game for visual accessibility. It'll still have the art on one side, but we'll take out the intensive layout on the other side, so that's just easy and clean to read. But then we'll accessibility for the role, because there's a little bit of a dex element in it, was another major issue for us. So a couple things. We actually encourage like the party to pick a thrower, so whether that's them or someone else. Now, you can always hand them around, rotate off, that's fine, right? But it's an option to just have one person throw. The collector doesn't ever have to throw if they don't want to. The way the monsters are built, their stuff happens, and there's some challenge numbers that let you kind of know what your target number is for people to hit or beat, in order to affect them, dodge it, other things like that. Somebody said they don't think Repugnant is showing up underneath the Zine Quest tag, but I'm pretty sure it is because somebody else found it online. Either way, but let me I'll check. I can check that real quick.
I wonder how we fix that.
Oh, we just email. We email in. It's fine.
I was gonna say, man, we got the Zine Quest logo in the top of the video.
We didn't. I don't know that we emailed them separately, but you were in enough conversation with them, and like I said, some other people have found it, so it would be surprising to me if it hadn't. But it is not showing up on the newest section. Do you want to drop an email to John and Anna real quick, and we'll get that taken care of. Thanks for letting us know. Yeah, it's not showing up in the tag.
Good looking out.
It should be though. We promise. So we had the olfactori. So they're producers of the odious and obscure. They've mastered the strength of stench in themselves and others. So this is a high disgust class, so high mental stat, low revulsion, low shame, even
wizard
feet. The class abilities are scrutinizing sniff. You can spend a point to use your keen sense of smell to gain information about a person, place, or item that you can smell. You can also track them by making a disgusting flick, because that's an overtime ability, and so you'll basically would then narrate how you track them from place to place to place as you're more effective until you find them. Smell-Emancy is their other ability, which is your connection to odor transcends that of a normal dweller, allowing you to summon smell and stench. So here are the Smell-Emancy abilities. Create smell. Spend a point to emit a cloud of fumes so strong, with a strong odor of your choosing, and move them up to a near length away. So basically you have limited control over aromas in your general area. Flatulence of flight. You spend a point to rip a long one, allowing you to move quickly through the air or hover in a fixed spot. Fart fist. You blast a beefy one so thick that it hits your opponent up to a far distance.
Fart fist.
I'm
telling you, dude, I can't. I seriously could not choose. I think I will probably play a Haggos olfactory when we play.
Oh, you're gonna go counter to min-max. I love it. Halitosis hypnosis. The stench of your breath claws at the mind of a close target, allowing you to control their actions with a shameful flick. And their mega ability is the Bow Blast. Spin one disgust. This is like a sniping ability also too. Spin one disgust to channel a stream of noxious matter from the bowels of heck. Range is far, and you can make a disgusting fling. Describe the type of matter you spray and discuss the desired effect with the creator. So it hits, but you can basically like channel from deep in the crust up through your bowels and then out any noxious substance or fluid that you want. And then you describe to the collector what you want it to try to do to the creator. Again, all those high level ones are a conversation. And so that's the olfactory or the olfactori.
Olfactori.
The glutton. They're slow, sweaty, and very strong. The biggest and beefiest of all the bullies. These dwellers can eat and rip through anything with their strong bite. These belching boys are truly are what they eat. At higher levels, this mutation causes their body to morph and change based on their disgusting diet. So at default, they can just bite through anything and eat anything. Like that is their ability. That they basically can slowly tear through whatever with their jaw. And then glutanical body is their other scaling ability. So that's ham-fisted. You've consumed enough rotten canned ham that your hands have become giant flesh mallets. You can add 2 chits to any hit or or physical blow. Bloated belch. Spend 1 point to release pent-up gas in your stomach with an explosive force.
We hit it.
Hey! We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. That's what I always do whenever I fund.
Oh, that's a great song.
The 2 times it's happened. I also send it to friends a lot of time when they fund. I think I may have sent it to you when you funded. Boom, $1,001, baby.
Nice.
And now we can update that pledge image to try to maximize on popularity and let people know how much they love. Everybody else loves us.
Started 11:08. We need a timestamp, don't we? What is it? 12:36.
11:36. Yeah. So, what time is it? 12:36. So an hour and a half. Funded in 90 minutes.
90 minutes. Do you actually want me to make a little thing?
I mean, we should. We don't have to do it right now. So
I'll do it in a second.
I can't remember
what email I was talking to Kickstarter on. About our stuff.
Fart Fist put us over the top.
Did somebody heard that in the stream and was like, "That's it.
I need it." And so, there is another game that has the Repugnant in the title, which was it's a workboard game. It looks excellent and it's kind of frustrating, but it's also totally fine. Hey, that was from Amit Mosh. That's the creator of City of Mists. Just backed our game over the finish line.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much, buddy. Yeah, we played his game. Actually, it's still sitting right here. If you haven't checked out City of Mist, I feel like it's everyone's favorite game they haven't played yet. It's John. Have you looked at the art for this, John?
No.
It's all this comic book, noir, fantasy feel. It's very, very strong.
Sweet.
You dig it. It takes the PBTA system and the tags from Fate, marries them together into something absolutely amazing. cityofmist.co if you want to check it out.
Thanks, John.
And let's see. Shane, tell me what HOL is. And also, Shane, yes, thank you. Please use gloves when handling our game. It's absolutely advised. And so,
fart spray? Anybody watching fart spray? Just question mark, because I'm for it. I think it's on theme. I want to hit the rewards with some fart spray.
We're discussing whether we should fart spray everything before we send it in. What we should really need to do also
maybe not the clothes, maybe not the cloth,
maybe not.
For the shirts.
What we need to do is fart spray. When we get one, what we need to do is fart spray it, seal it up, and let it sit a week to see if it's gonna actually last in mail, and then also if it's possible to get rid of afterwards. We did talk about early on a stretch goal that was we'll just dip everything in trash. We'll just make the game worse. And so gluttons get a huge boost to revulsion, their physical stat. No boost. They're one of the few stats that get a no boost to their disgust and a little bit to shame also too. They get a massive boost to meat, but none to feet. They're really leaning in they are your tankiest tank. After bloated belch, you've got corrupted carapace, which probably should just get switched to carcass because it's easier to say. Your skin is now infected with pus-lined calluses, reducing all damage taken by 1. You can spend 1 revulsion to block up to 3 more damage. Sweet sweat. This is the mood, the first move that I wrote for this game that made me gag a little bit while writing it. Your sweat is a potent spice. You can spend 1 shame to wipe yourself down and cook a meal seasoned with your flavor that will heal everyone for 2 hits or recover 1 scuzz point. It's the only healing ability in the game also too, I will say. You can heal through items, you can heal through rest, that's all a thing that happens. Basically we have a move called Wallow that anybody can do, which is basically your character has a preferred space they like to be to recover. And if you can find that kind of space, you can wallow in it for a little bit and get better. And you'll get better slowly over time also too. Their master ability. It's called putrid physiology. You've consumed so much of a certain substance that your body has gained a quality of it. Work with the GM to figure out the mechanics. So that might be, I've eaten a lot of gelatinous stuff and now I'm a little bit slimy, and what does that do? Or I've eaten a lot of metal and now I've got titanium something but the one of the things we wanted to do, my design style is very OSR inspired, so taking the Principia Apocrypha of OSR systems, but then moving that into an indie narrative space, which is not uncommon. It's what a lot of people do with OSR stuff right now, but it's definitely those high-level moves, we just wanted to be narrative as much as possible, and then give a mechanical effect also too, but we want to just leave that between GM and players so you guys can shape the crust a little bit how you want to. Just lightly fart spray an individual page inside. So everybody's got to go scratch and sniff for that one page. Human Occupied Landfill, Black Dog Games, Pure 90s Insanity. The entire book is handwritten. I'm going to go check it out. That sounds awesome. Somebody's going to rock the hell out of the shirt. If you were in the Baltimore area and see me with the shirt on, throw your trash at me. I already look like a repugnant character in IRL. I actually need to have you, I need to go down to my local shirt printer here who'll just do one-offs for me. He just had a baby, so I don't know that he's doing it right now, and just see if he'll slap one on there for me so I can wear it on streams for the next little bit. Adam Bell coming in. Lightly fart spray, yeah. Adam, congratulations on Grasping Nettles. It's in its last day. We just did a review video today. My favorite, one of my top 2 world building games of all time, really tied with The Quiet Year. Very, very different, but I love both of them for individual reasons. You know, we're going to define some seasons of the crust using this. So that was The Glutton. Garbage Man, I got to hop over to a different document because it's still in draft mode there. But Garbage Men are like if there are paladins in this world, they're like the paladins. But they basically are wrapped in like garbage, and they have a high shame index. Basically, the concept that their charisma, like a little bit leaning on the charisma trope, but also like the fun of like being able to constantly be aware of the trash around you and a desire to clean and manipulate it, but still being in symbiosis with it was really what we were going for a lot with this class. It was, I'm a gear person. Like I love items and stuff. And so for me, Garbage Men have a lot of that feel in them also too. But John, what were some of the thoughts about the Garbage Men while I find my draft doc real quick?
They're like, they sacrifice their souls and their bodies to the trash. They have completely abandoned any sort of pride. Humbleness is like, they nearly worship the trash, but they don't even do that because they themselves consider trash to be both like divine and inconsequential at the same time.
Yeah.
They're like in a different headspace. They're like Ronin. They're like samurai.
Yeah. So may the this is what's written right now. May the filth bring life and give shame. You have taken a vow that no one shall ever see your flesh, and to toil for the balance of filth and faith. This is why this is still in draft mode, because I don't think I nailed the language here yet. These repugnates are constantly clad in trash can armor that adorns their unknown frame. You can kind of tell what is there by like their arms and stuff sticking out, but
yep.
I have them divided into 3 clans: Balt, Imor, Filth, Idelphia, and New York. It's totally dumb.
Yeah, so it needs a little work.
Yeah, you can craft powerful creations from the filth and detritus scattered around. So you got trash can and one man's trash are your different abilities. So trash can is essentially that you have armor. Like you have this suit of armor that gives you basically the ability to off the bat resist some of the damage that gets thrown at you from the heap and hide you. But it's also this has very much kind of a Mandalorian feel to it in a lot of ways, which I like.
Oh, absolutely.
But so the one man's trash are your scaling abilities. You pick one to start with, get the rest as you go. Shattered Shockers, or Shatter Shockers, a pair of gauntlets that deliver an electric blow, causing your opponent to release their bowels. The Suck and Blow, a powerful device capable of sucking up the essential nature of an item and blowing it back at the wielder's command. So basically, like, you could drain the effect of an item out of somebody else's hand and then blow it back out. The Dumbster, Dumbster, it basically hits. It's a mental attack that hits somebody and then like reduces their intelligence for a short period of time. But it's just it's just like a giant trash can mallet, right? Basically, and so you hit them in the head, and it makes them dumb. The Wall of Shame, a wall of disgusting and embarrassing detritus, is drawn up from the surrounding area, blocking all passage. You can use it to wall things off. to create a hill for y'all to hide behind, to slowly over time manipulate and build structures to. And then your master ability is your messy masterwork. You create a shameful masterwork item, work with the GM to produce the specific effects. But over time, you can collect items and then say, I want to combine these all to X. And the GM can do it. And if it gets they can get destroyed, they can get broken, then you can build another one. Once you've bought the ability, you can always have a messy masterwork, but you can only have one at a time. It's basically your guy's signature item. So those are the races and classes that you're going to find on the crust. Be careful with HOL. There's some stuff in there I might find offensive. Well, I mean, that sounds like, oh, well, I also left just my notes up on the page. You guys are you guys are seeing the entire back end of everything. Oh wait, did I? Hold on. No, I had the other screen up. I get so confused sometimes on here. So yeah, anyways, that's races, classes. Like I said earlier when we were looking at the character sheets, the way that'll work is you will fill them out. I need John DeCampos. As you fill out your character sheet, you'll have your magnitude, which is whatever your level is in that type of scuzz or your carcass. Then you'll have points that go into that. And so it's hit points and feet points are both kind of like HP, but if you zero out on meat, you are dead. If you zero out on feet, you're just incapacitated. And then as you use as you use your scuzz, the points go down and they have to be recharged over time. And so you can either use the Sweet Sweat ability to do that, or you can just give them time to do it. It's basically like a long rest, essentially helps recover some of them, but not all of them. And so you gotta make a throw to see how many you recover. Yeah, that's it. If you guys have any more questions, hit us up. You guys should ask John about art, too. Also, you guys have asked a lot of system questions, which I get. But John has just done so much phenomenal work in here. I want to know, John, what is the piece of art you are most excited about?
Really, so I mean, the double wide cover was sort of where I put all my juice in. I think that developing all the different monsters, because I have some of them sort of scan by during the video. You see a scaboid, an eyeballer, in the scroll of characters that fly through during the video. And obviously the Yeki is like all over the place on the marketing. But like I got this idea for one creature called the Stain, which is just this blackened tar bubble puddle vomit creature that doesn't have like a bipedal physical form. It's just like, it's like sentient ooze. That's like this malfeasance that just, you can't get rid of it, because anytime it gets on stuff, as long as there's even one little speck of it still intact, it can come back. We got the Booger Boys and the Boys and Ghouls and all these different creatures that I'm looking forward to just churning out and working with you and probably the rest of the community on figuring out, like, what are they? Like, yeah. What do they look like?
Yeah, that's something to know. So one of the things I did last year, we won't be doing it as much of it this year, but we will be taking submissions for you guys. We've left some blank spots in the book for you guys to be able to kick things in. So we'll take item submissions, just things that will go into the rubbish pile. Everybody wants a ghost bat hat, but John like had that custom made that.
Yeah, I made it myself. I'll get some printed.
John Hall wants to know where he can buy prints. Actually, we are talking to the folks over at Black Rainbow about doing a dice bag set and a print of that cover. Also, when you buy the game, you're gonna get, if you buy it at the print level, you're gonna get it all in print. I mean, but if you're looking for a big one to go on your wall, keep an eye out for that. Yeah. So caution warning, trigger warning, and HOL. Don't look at that unless you're you're wanting to be offended. But not on Repugnant. It is gross, and I would say caution warning, gross stuff. But the reality is, other than that, like, it's good. It's all good, you know. We have some more stretch goals and stuff in mind. But again, I just want to remind you guys, thanks for being on here with us. If you guys have more questions, we'll chat a little bit more. But otherwise, we should probably pop off and go do other intentional parts of promoting things, as well as just all the other stuff we do. But yeah, keep an eye out for that Black Rainbow stuff. It'll be in for the prints. It'll be available as an add-on. Also, if you back at the $300 level, I mean, I'm telling you guys, I know it's a big thing. Like, I back John's game at the $300 level. It's not something a lot of people can do, and that's fine if you can. And that's functionally like giving a print run of the game, but it's about $150 worth of labor, and you getting stuff for the game, making it yours, having your name in it, being personalized, putting your mark on the crust, your skid mark, if you will. And then, the other part of that is just all the phenomenal crap you are going to get. And even doing that level let us elevate a lot of the add-ons we wanted to do, make them a reality, the pizza boxes, other things like that. Those all came from the concept of what are we doing at this much higher level to make it worthwhile. But again, you can add any of that stuff as add-ons. Like, don't one thing you want, that's fine.
Even if you trim down the cost of the character art to like $70, the t-shirt's going to be $20. The pizza box is going to be like $10. The chits, like the physical items plus, the limited nature of it, I think 300 is actually pretty reasonable, honestly.
Yeah. It's cool to look at what people are enjoying. We've got Basically Gross and people who just backed at $1. I'm sure there's actually lots of people that are members of our board game community who just really want to support us, as well as other people who are doing the $28, 28 days.
Touching on that really quick, I got a message from our buddy Patrick Goatfert, who did editing on the Token Terrors rule booklet privately. He DM'd me and asked, would there be any way I could support the Kickstarter, but you give away my pledge to 1 to 2 people who'd like the game? I love your stuff, but I haven't really been into RPGs lately, and I'd love the chance for someone interested, but might not otherwise be able to get it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So can we get? I said we'll work on it. We should give away throughout the rest of the streams that you do for the rest of Zine Quest. We should be giving this away. We should be giving away pledges.
That's true. I am happy to do that. Here's what we'll do. We will give away pledges or a pledge upgrade, one of the two. So if you're already pledged,
that sounds good.
You can still win. We'll figure out how that's going to work. I've got to figure out how that's going to work, but we'll just make a list somewhere and do that also too. So yeah, we'll basically we'll do some sort of static upgrade for all pledges at that, whether that's a free add-on item or something of equivalent value. We'll figure that on. But yeah, like if you back it at a level and you're like, this just isn't for me, just let us know in your backer kit and we'll give it away either now or later. And so I imagine my mom may not want this, but I imagine my mom will probably back this game. And so
I should tell my mom, because she'll probably just spring for the $300 pledge just to be helpful.
I always call the $300 pledge level the mom level. Though my mom didn't do it. She did it for some of my games. She hasn't done it for all of my games. And so, but yeah, guys, I'm so excited about this. So excited to be here. So excited to have gotten to work with John. Love the community we have. Thanks to Sarah and Jesse and Zig for saying nice things about the game. Thanks for all you guys for showing up on day one, hanging out with us for an hour or two. Just talking about all the great stuff. We'll have those how to play videos up later. Hopefully we're going to pop off some of these stretch goals later on today. I'd love to get through.
Oh boy! I'd love if we get that $10,000, man.
I can't wait.
We get to make that soundtrack.
I can't wait to see you guys see what happens when this thing pops. Like right here, it's disgusting, and I'm very excited.
Oh yeah, we're almost there, aren't we? We gotta finish up. So I gotta make an alternate graphic with the things unlocked and make an update saying that we funded and post this in places. So
I'll take care of the update if you want. So all
right, that'd be great. I would love that actually.
I'm happy. Updates are like my favorite, and so I'm happy to ride that. We'll have those videos to play that you can watch later on. Those are getting edited down right now. They may be ready actually by the time we're done. And we've got the addable junk that's up. What we've announced so far is that T-shirt along with the pizza box that it's going to come with the Pizza Problems menu. So please check that out. Oh, I just knocked something. It's just my phone. It's probably broken now. It's fine. And John did this awesome job showcasing the three of us. I'll be back this afternoon zine questing in a few hours. I'm going to go take a break after we do the update and post this in a couple other places. But if you guys can help get the word out, help let people know about the game. We are live. We are funded. But really, at the end of the day, John and I now have our eyes set on, can we make some ambient crust punk? That's what we want.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Like straight up, I'll tell you what it costs. It's $2,000 for us to produce this piece of music. I'm going to co-author it with Mike Walls. And if we have the budget to do it, I could not be more excited than trying to literally invent a new style of music.
Yeah, I mean,
I am here for it. I live for this kind of stuff. And for anybody who might be scratching their heads, like, why are you going to be able? In addition to being in 2 bands, I've also composed music for like 2-hour-long staged rock operas for like 7 years as part of the Baltimore Rock Opera Society. So doing atmospheric storytelling in music form is something that I love to do that I haven't done in a while. And if we get to do it, I think everybody's going to be really really impressed and happy with it. It should be fun.
And I'll say this: if we we're happy to eliminate 20% of what we make. If we just hit $10,001 to make something cool like that happen, because that's why we make games. Like I'll even say this: if we launch and then in the add-ons we pass that stretch goal, I'd still love. I don't want to not make that stretch goal, but like that's something that both John and I are incredibly excited to make happen. Like, we really want this to be a very full presentation of all the cool things that Zine Quest projects can offer, that none of them should expect to have to offer either. So if you guys haven't yet, please share that link, ttrpg.link/gross out. That'll take people straight to our page. We've only got good stuff ahead of us. I haven't even put out my backer announcement saying that it's up yet. We haven't put it in a lot of the communities we can go post it in. I'm going to go do that backer update. John's going to get that art up to date, so when we blast through that first and hopefully second stretch goal, things will be good. And then we'll keep you guys up to date. Tomorrow I'll do a backer update about our plans to have you guys collaborate some things. I got to set up the type form sheet for that, which is a phenomenal resource, but I've got to go back and turn it back on because it's $50 a month, and so I only use it during campaigns. John, tell people where they can find you on the internet.
I am at ghost_bat_ on Instagram. You can find ghostbatart.com for my artwork. Tokenterrors.com for my Terrible Games first release, which is still in the post-campaign pledge mode. So if you didn't pick up a copy during the campaign, you can still go ahead and secure a copy that will ship with the rest of our backer rewards. There's a number of cool add-ons there. We're looking to deliver that game in April at the latest, sometime in the spring. It might be as late as July or August, but we're working with our manufacturers. This, however, we're going to get out before October because I got another campaign coming up in Black Mold. Okay, that's it for me.
My name is Tony Vicinda. You can find me at Tony Vicinda across all social media. You can find us at +1EXP. I'll be back this afternoon Zine Questing. If there's other great projects that you want to know about, I'm obviously going to talk about Repugnant, but let me know. Because I'll talk about them. I'm excited to talk about your games also, or games that you're excited about. A bunch of awesome Zine Quest projects just finished. There's more coming up. The month is halfway over, but we're actually only about a third of the way through Zine Quest because there are projects that will launch on the last day of the month and take us into March. Those are going to get a little bit less attention for me, but I'm still going to cover as many of them as I can, and maybe die trying. We'll see what happens. Not before I finish this game, though. Don't worry.